Hello guys, welcome to the Euclidean geometry or geometry of lines, whereby we will be doing the exercises now in this document that I'm having here on the screen. So guys, it happens that sometimes when you are using your phone, that maybe it is not that visible, or maybe it is a little bit zoomed out. So what you will have to do, you will just have to rotate your screen, then it will definitely show better. Now, we are going to answer these questions, and I will always highlight these guys that whenever you are doing geometry, you must always provide the solid mathematical reasoning behind every statement that you mention. So now let's have a look on this exercise one that is on the screen here. We are going to calculate the size of angle theta in each case that we are having here on the screen. Sure. Now let's go for question one. Okay. Now, in question one here, we have a triangle ABC, right? Now, what do you know about the interior angles of a triangle? We know that the sum of interior angles is supplementary. Now, what do we mean by the term supplementary? We mean they all add up to 180 degrees. Now, that simply tells us that angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. That is the statement. Now, what is the reason behind that statement? The reason is the interior angles of the triangle are supplementary. Now, to find that angle theta, we will simply write this. Oh, I don't want it to be this thick. Okay, cool. Now, A, but angle A, not just A. So it is important for you to always note that this is an angle by putting that hat on top of the letter to show that we are talking about the angle here. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C, right, is equal to 180 degrees. So this is the statement. Now, if maybe it was the question of 3 marks, you now already have a mark here. Okay, that is the statement. What is the reason now behind this statement? It is because interior angles of the triangles are supplementary, right? What do we mean by supplementary? Supplementary means they add up to 180 degrees. Then let's say you see some terms sometimes when you go through this mathematical book, then you see a word complementary. What does the complementary mean? Complementary means that they add up to 90 degrees. So you need to be able to differentiate the two. Complementary, they add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary, they add up to 180 degrees. I hope you guys get the two. Okay, let's move. Now, what is A? Angle A. Angle A, it is 70 degrees. It is important, guys, that always when you write these angles, you write that degrees to denote that, okay, here we are talking about angles, not just any numbers. So A is 70 degrees. What is B? B is this angle that we are looking for, which is theta plus angle C of that. I'm sorry for that. We said this is theta plus what is the angle C? Angle C is 64 degrees. Okay, is equal to 180 degrees. Then from here you just do your algebra, the one that you have learned from grade 7, by making this angle theta the subject of the formula. So now angle theta is going to be equal to 180 degrees minus 64 degrees. Remember, it is positive. When we take it to the right-hand side, it will change from positive to be negative. That 70 is positive. We are taking it to this side. It will be negative when it gets to this side, right? Yes. Now, what is theta going to be equal to? Let me quickly punch my calculator because sometimes we make careless mistakes by doing that mental maths. So I would always advise you guys to ensure that you press your calculator to avoid doing those careless mistakes. So 180 degrees minus 64 degrees minus 70 degrees, I get 46 degrees. So the size of this theta is equal to 46 degrees. We are done with this one. Okay, now let's go to the next one, which is question 2 here. Question 2, we are having the triangle. And we note that this triangle that we are given is a right-angled triangle. What do we mean by a right-angled triangle? A right-angled triangle is a triangle that have an angle that is a right angle. What is a right angle? A right angle is an angle that is exactly equal to 90 degrees, and it is always denoted by this square. So this square denotes that this angle is a right angle. What is a right angle? A right angle is an angle that is exactly equal to 90 degrees. You guys learned that in grade 7, right? Okay. We also talked about acute angle. Acute angle are the angles that are less than 90 degrees. And then we also have angles that are called obtuse angle. Obtuse angles are the angles that are greater than 90 degrees but are less than 180 degrees. Then we have a straight line that is an angle that is exactly equals to 180 degrees. We also have the reflex angle. The reflex angle is the angle that is greater than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. And then lastly, we have a revolution, which is the angle around the point. This is the point, it starts here and then it rotates up to this very same point it started. Then this is the revolution or the angle around the point. Okay, now back to the question. We are required to find the angle theta, which is this one. Now, let's analyze this triangle that we are having here. We are having a right angled triangle with two other equal sides and the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, guys, is the longest side in a right angled triangle. You can't have the hypotenuse in any other triangle. We only have the hypotenuse side only on a right angled triangle. That is the longer side. So now we note that these sides are equal. So now, since these sides are equal, they forces this right angled triangle to be an isosceles triangle. What is an isosceles triangle? Isosceles triangle is that triangle that we talked about in the lesson earlier on, that we said if these two sides are equal, this angle now, this triangle is forced to have these angles equal. Now, in this one, it implies that we also have angle theta here that is equal to that one because of these equal sides here. So now, how are we going to find that unknown angle theta? We are going to say angle A, not just A, angle A plus angle B, not just B, plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. This is only the statement. This is missing. You have to put some reasoning behind the statement. Why do I say A plus B plus C is equal to 180 degrees? Because the interior angles of the triangle are supplementary. Then now you will get 2 marks, a mark for the statement and a mark for the reasoning. All right? Yes. Now let's substitute our angles. So what is the size of angle A? It is theta. What is the size of angle B? It is theta. What is the size of angle C? It is 90 degrees. And someone will be curious here and say, why 90 degrees while I don't see 90 degrees here? So remember, guys, I mentioned that as long as you see some square on an angle, it indicates that that angle is a right angled triangle. I mean, that angle is a right angle. It's a 90 degrees angle. So that will be equal to 180 degrees. Now you do your beautiful algebra from this point. 2 theta plus 90 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, 2 theta is equal to 180 degrees minus that 90 degrees will give me 90 degrees. Now I divide by 2 on both sides. Why? Because this is the equation. Whatever you do on the left-hand side, you should do on the right-hand side. And the aim here is to make theta subject of the formula. Now, if I divide by 2 on the left-hand side, I will also have to divide by 2 on the right-hand side. Now, my theta is equal to 45 degrees, right? Now we answered for this one. Okay, now let's go to the next question, which is question 3. These questions are beautiful, hey? I hope you guys are enjoying them. Okay, let me quickly erase this just to use this space to answer that question 3 right there. Okay, let's answer question 3. So question 3, we will approach it using 2 different approaches. But now this is math. There are many ways to kill a cat. So you can approach a problem with different approaches. As long as you get to the correct answer, that is fine. Okay, now here we don't have theta. I hope they made a mistake of putting x here. Let's put our theta here, and we want to find the value of that theta. So the first approach is to find this angle here, and you will find the theta there. So let's let this angle maybe to be beta. Okay, if this angle is beta, now we want that beta. Okay, now we will say angle A plus angle B plus angle ACB. This might be confusing, guys, but it is not confusing. I moved from A to C to B. My angle is there at C, and then I put the head on top of letter C. What is the angle of A? It is 43 degrees, not just 43. What is the angle of B? It is 73 degrees plus ACB. It is beta, right? Okay, now we want that beta. Okay, this summation will result into 180 degrees. Why? Because interior angles of a triangle are supplementary, right? You guys now know this reason by head. Okay, now this will be equal to 180 degrees. Therefore, my beta will be equal to 180 degrees minus 43 minus 75. Okay, my beta now is equal to, I punch my calculator, 180 degrees minus 45 minus 75. I now get 62 degrees. Okay, that is beta. I haven't answered the question yet. The question wants us to find theta. Now we will come to this part. That is a straight line. That angle is equal to 180 degrees. Now I will say angle theta plus angle beta is equal to 180 degrees. Angle theta plus beta, what is beta? Beta is 62 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, now what is my theta? Is equal to 180 degrees. I transpose this to this side. I get 62 degrees. Then 180 degrees minus 62, I get 118 degrees. Okay, that is the size of angle theta. That is the first approach. This is the first approach. Okay, let's go for the second approach. I will try to write it here. I hope it will be visible to everyone. Okay, the question was like this. We want this theta. So always, guys, when you are given a triangle like this, you've got some line that is produced to continue straight to that direction. This angle will always be equal to this angle plus that angle, reason being exterior angle of a triangle. So now we will use that because we have got some line that is produced all the way down there. Now this one will be simple like this. Angle theta is equal to angle A plus angle BY, because that is the exterior angle of a triangle. What is A? A is 43 degrees. What is B? B is 73 degrees is equal to now. It's just a punch the calculator. 43 plus 73 gives me 116 degrees. Okay, 116 degrees. Now, why did you get 100 and what did we get this side? We had 180 minus 62. We get 118. We can't be getting this different answers. We should be getting the same answer. Let's go back to this question and see maybe where we did something wrong here. Now here we had 73 and 43. Let's say 180 minus 73 minus 43. Oh yes, here it is. This was supposed to be 64 degrees. And then now we will have 64 here, and 180 minus the 64 will give me 116 degrees. Yes, here it is. Now it gives me 116 degrees, not just 116. I hope it makes sense to everyone, guys. Okay, now we are done with question 3. Let us go to the next question, which is question 4. Very interesting. It is a very beautiful question. It is very, very, very beautiful. Let me do this. I just want to quickly erase this part just to have some clean paper to write on the answers of the next question. Okay, I think that will be enough. The question 4, we want the theta. We are given the triangle ABC. In this triangle ABC, we are given that all the sides of this triangle are equal. What is this triangle? This triangle is an equilateral triangle. What equilateral triangle? I always explain equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle This equi means that everything is equal in this triangle. All the sides of this triangle are equal. All the angles of these triangles are also equal. We have theta there, we have theta there. Now, you will say angle A, not just A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. Why do I say this? Because interior angles of the triangle are supplementary. Okay, yes. What is A? A is theta. What is B? B is theta. What is C? C is theta is equal to 180 degrees. Now, theta plus theta gives me 3 theta is equal to 180 degrees. You divide by theta by 3 on both sides to make theta subject of the formula. Therefore, angle theta is equal to 60 degrees. Then you are done answering question 4. And let's go to the next one, question 5, where we are given that triangle. It is also a beautiful one. You guys don't have to be scared. Therefore, you don't have to be scared of that question. Uh, you just have to always apply what you know, what you have learned in maths class, in this lesson, in the previous classes, always what you know. So let's interpret this triangle just to ensure that we know what we are given and what we are required to find. Now, we can see that the triangle ABD is a right angled triangle. Why? Because of that right angle there that is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, we want theta here. We are given that if triangle EDC, EC is equal to ED. That implies that this angle will be equal to this angle because EDC is an isosceles triangle. We are given C1 here as 160 degrees. Angle B is theta there. Okay, how now here are we going to find for that theta? Okay, let me see. Okay, we can find this angle. We said if we have something like this angle plus this angle is equal to 180 degrees. Reason being angles on the straight line. Now, I will have something like angle C1 plus angle C2 is equal to 180 degrees. Reason being angles on a straight line. Right? Yes. What is C1? C1 is equal to 160 degrees. C2 is the one that we are looking for. Okay. Now, we make C2 subject of the formula by transposing 160 degrees to the left, to the right-hand side. It was positive. Now it is going to be negative to this side. Now we will have angle C2 as 180 degrees minus 160 degrees. Now the answer is 20 degrees. Okay, now we have this angle as 20 degrees. Now angle D is equal to angle C2. They are both equal to 20 degrees. Why do I say that? Because we are given that ED is equal to EC, right? Okay, now this is 20 degrees. Now we will come to this bigger triangle, that angle A plus angle B plus angle D is equal to 180 degrees. Why? Interior angles of a triangle are supplementary. Fine. What is the size of angle A? It is 90 degrees. And then B is the theta that we are looking for. And the D is that 20 that we just found. Is equal to 180 degrees. Now, we just make theta subject of the formula here. 180 degrees minus 20 degrees minus 90 degrees. We get 180 degrees minus 20 minus 90 degrees. I get 70 degrees. Okay, just like that, we found your theta. Now let's continue to the last question, which is question 6. Okay, let me erase this part. Erase, I erase, I erase, I erase. Okay. And all right, there we go. Now we'll go to the question 6. We are given the triangle ADC, right? ADC here. And then we are given some small triangles ADB and DBC. In ADB, AD is equal to DB. That is an isosceles triangle. Since these sides are equal, they forces these angles to be equal, right? Also in this triangle BCD, BD is equal to BC. That forces this angle here to be equal to that angle, right? Yes. Now, what are we going to do with this thing? What are we going to do with this thing? How are we going to find what? Okay. Now, if this is theta, that will also be theta. Now, I will say to you D2, and it's an angle, is equal to C is equal to theta. Why? Because that is the base of an isosceles triangle. This is an isosceles triangle because these sides are equal. They forces these angles to be equal. If this is theta, now we would go to that property that we talked about somewhere, that this angle is equal to this plus this. Now, we are having this line and this triangle here that now, this angle will be equal to this angle plus that angle. Now, we are having B1 is an angle is equal to angle D2 plus angle C. Why? That is an exterior angle of the triangle. Because now, angle B1 is equal to D2. What is D2? D2 is theta. What is C? C is theta. Now B1 is equal to 2 theta. We now have 2 theta here. This implies that that is also equal to 2 theta. I will now say angle A is equal to angle B1 is equal to 2 theta. Why? That is also the base of an isosceles triangle because of these sides that are equal here. Now, we want theta. What are we going to do here? We are going to say angle A plus angle B1 plus angle D1 is equal to 180 degrees. Why? Interior angles of a triangle are supplementary. What is A? 2 theta. What is B? 1. 2 theta. What is D1? It is 52 degrees. Is equal to 180 degrees. Now I will have 4 theta is equal to 180 degrees minus 52 degrees. Now, 180 degrees minus 52 gives me 128 degrees. I divide by 4 on the both sides. I get theta is equal to 108. 128 divided by 4 gives me 32 degrees. Then we are done finding theta just like that. I hope it made sense to everyone, guys. So we are done with working with triangles. I hope this made you guys comfortable working with triangles. in the next one, we will be talking about this one that talks about other quadrilaterals, parallelogram, rhombus. Now I hope you are comfortable with the triangles. Oh, this should be nice, hey? I hope you guys would enjoy it. Otherwise, let's end here for this lesson. Thank you, guys.